Welcome to Learn, and More Learning podcast. You are listening to episode 13. Today is April 2nd, 2017. Your host on the show is Emily, a 6th grade student from Crusoe Middle School in Deerfield, Illinois. The music is Chick Chick 70A, and it is called Nice Intro Music. Also, I'll be playing music by Cafe Music BGM channel, and the title is Happy Cafe Music. Today on the show, I'll be reading and commenting about the life lesson Think Before You Speak/Act. It is a show you do not want to miss. Grab some headphones, sit back, and enjoy the show. Today, the podcast will be focusing on the life lesson Think Before You Speak/Act. This life lesson is all about thinking about what you are going to say or do before you do it. This life lesson is important to learn because it helps show who you are and what you do. It also is important because it shows what people think of you. Today I'm going to talk about 4 ways people learn about this life lesson and why it is important for people to learn about my life lesson. My first example that shows the life lesson Think Before You Speak/Act is make sure to check something before you do it. This example shows in the book Touching Spirit Bear by Jen Michelson. Cole learned about Think Before You Speak/Act by Cole smashing Peter Driscoll's head on the sidewalk. He breaks his skull and makes Peter go through severe pain. In the text it states, when Peter tried to escape, he tripped and fell to the ground. Cole jumped on him again and started smashing his head against the sidewalk. It took 7 other students to pull him away, but then Peter was cowering on the blood-smeared sidewalk, sobbing. That was on page 7. This life lesson was vital to Cole because this text means that Cole didn't control himself. It means that Peter had to get abused and massively hurt from Peter. It means that Peter had to get abused and massively hurt from Cole not thinking before he hit Peter's head on the sidewalk. Cole should have had more control and dealt with the situation in a better way. He should have realized what he was going to do before he did it. This life lesson was taught to Cole through him realizing that he made a bad mistake by breaking Peter's skull. This shows that he felt bad later in the book, but he thought he was doing the right thing when he did it. Cole learned a lot from what he did to Peter. He also felt like what it was like to be abused, what he did to Peter. Think before you post on social media. In the article, Think Before You Act, in the text it states, it only takes a second for your actions to go viral. In the text it states it only takes a few seconds. In the text it states it only takes a second for your actions to go viral. In the text it states it only takes a second for your actions to go viral. It states, and it only takes a second for your documented actions to go viral. And to explain that, you never know when people can see something that you don't want them to. In another example or text, people can learn this life lesson from not listening to others who are trying to help you. In the article Wings by Jane Yalin, the main character, Icarus, didn't listen to his father. He only wanted to have fun, but that brought him into bad situations. In the text it states, but young Icarus had no such memories to his steady wings. He beat them with abandoned glory in his freedom. He slipped away from his father's careful pattern along the wild stream of wind. That was on page 106. The text means that he has no past experience with this, so he was The text means that he has no past experience with this, so he doesn't know to be careful. It means that he doesn't understand to not go close to the sun. He was just trying to have fun, but he died because of it. He drowned from not listening to his dad. The wax melted on the wings and he fell and drowned. He should have been more responsible instead of being immature. Icarus cannot fix what he did, so he should have acted correctly and not have gone close to the sun. In the article, it's a mistake not to use mistakes as part of the learning process. The text states, in a very emotional language, she describes some costly emergency room mistakes, and that makes a strong case for changing the way that the medical profession addresses such things. This means that the essay solutions to a serious problem aren't necessarily the ones correct. It's about the difference between right and wrong. We'll be right back with our program after a break. That music was again from Chick Chick 78, and the title was Nice Intro Music. Welcome back to Learn, and More Learning. Someone can learn to listen to what they're doing. Someone can learn to listen from what they are going to say before they can say it. In the book, I Am a Freak by Elizabeth Atkinson, Emma thinks that her life is terrible because her name sounds like Am a Freak. Also, she has a mother that doesn't really care about her, and she never met her dad. Later in the book, she gets invited to a family reunion on her dad's side and learns that her life may not be so bad, even though she does make a few mistakes. She can learn a lot because she is human. In the text, it states, can someone please explain to me what Fred and I did wrong? Because where I come from, people are allowed to make decisions for themselves. Did I just say that? It was as if it came straight out of Donatella's mouth. That was on page 196. This text means that she didn't take a minute to realize what she did. You never know if what you say without thinking can make you get into a lot of trouble later in life. Sometimes with talking, you have to think of other people before you. In the text, Emma said something to make her family that she didn't want to say, but she did by mistake. This also means that she must learn from what she did later. This also means that she must learn from what she did to later fix in life. This also means that she must learn from what she did to fix it in later life. Even though some things may not seem bad at first, you never know who's listening. Emma learned a lot from what she said. She also learned to think before she talked again, which helped her later in the story. Think before you speak. In an article called Think Before You Speak, it states, it's not hard to stop trying to prove how smart you are. This 3-step drill will help. Number 1, Pause before you open your mouth and ask yourself, is anything I'm going to say worth it? 2. Conclude that it isn't. And 3. Say thank you. If you can stop yourself in this minor moment with someone with whom you work closely and who knows you well, you're in good shape. This text evidence shows how people should think before you speak, and it could get you in good situation. And it also shows that there's different ways that you could do that, so it could help you and make people realize that you're a good person and you're caring. The final example tonight will be that someone can learn from this article. The final example tonight will be that someone can learn from this life lesson for making a mistake from what they said. In the article Looking for America by Elizabeth Patridge, Elizabeth tells her story about learning about segregation. She never experienced what it was because she lived in California. Oh, if you do not know, In California, there wasn't any segregation. Elizabeth said, "Why do you drink from a jar?" Page 275. This means that people in other states didn't know about segregation. Segregation is when black and white-skinned people are treated differently. Black-skinned people are the ones that got treated disrespectfully, and whites get treated respectfully. Elizabeth learned from seeing signs and the blacks and whites being treated differently. In the article, How to Learn from Your Mistakes, it states, putting yourself in situations where you can learn interesting mistakes. This goes along with Looking for America because it shows that you learn a mistake in a bad situation, but you can learn from that. Thanks for listening to the Learn and More Learning podcast. Today I spoke to you about my life lesson, Think Before You Speak/Act, and how people learn about this life lesson. My 4 examples show different examples of how people should think before they speak/act. This was episode 13, and I was recording live at Caruso Middle School. For more information on this podcast and others, please visit our podcast page. Please tune in for the next podcast where another student will teach a different life lesson.